Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, it's time for below grade level. Listener beware, you're in for a scare.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton, and with me, as always, is Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Chris Zaleski.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Fine.
Cool. Good. It's just the three of us again, and we have come together in our post-Thanksgiving slumber to finish reading R.L. Stine's Halloween Night. I gotta remember that this is just a bad time of the year for us to try and do anything.
Yeah.
And I think after this episode, we're gonna take like a short hiatus and probably get back into it. Like
anything after October just feels too hard.
Yeah, basically at like the beginning of October, it's like, well, the last 3 months of the year is a wash.
Yeah.
So don't try.
And it isn't even like because I'm busy. It's just I don't fucking want to do anything.
There's just enough other stuff like holidays and work and other things going on that makes any time outside of that we would normally have to do like our podcast and other things. I'm just like, I'm tired. I can't do it. I got to lay on the floor. So we're coming to you probably for the last time this year. To wrap up the story of Brenda and Hallie, the cousins who I guess hate each other. I don't really know how to describe them. It's a weird relationship. Do you want me to recap what happened last time?
Please.
Okay. So last time, in Halloween Night by R.L. Stine, Hallie had trashed Brenda's car, wrecked it. I don't know why I said trashed.
I don't either.
What am I, like a surfer?
Yeah, she totaled it by driving through a stop sign.
Through a stop sign.
That she'd been driving around for months at this point.
Yeah. So Hallie totaled Brenda's car, and Brenda like fucking went ballistic. And then they went to the homecoming dance, and at the homecoming dance, Brenda's boyfriend Ted just straight up walked away from her and just started making out with Hallie, like in view of everybody. And then Ted and Noah, Tracy's boyfriend, I'm trying to remember the names, got into a fist fight, like a gigantic fist fight, over Hallie. And at that point, Brenda totally snapped and decided that she was going to take the joke of killing Hallie in their writing assignment and turn it into real life and started planning the murder of her cousin, like an actual murder. And then her friend Dina bailed because, as any sane person would bail, Dina didn't want to commit a murder and murder a person. And while Brenda was plotting an actual murder, Hallie heard everything through Chekhov's air vent, that air vent that we've been talking about this entire time that we knew was going to come back and bite someone in the ass. It finally did. So where we last left everybody, Brenda went into her bedroom and Hallie was sitting on her bed and said, "Come in, Brenda. I've been waiting for you." So before we get into this, last chance for like predictions. What do you guys think is going to happen, Bekah?
I'm sticking by my original prediction that what we're reading now is the story, and they just included writing the story in their story.
Okay. Yeah.
And at the end, they'll be like, or I don't know, she'll murder her, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, the end. And it was
yeah.
her like reading her story to the class or something.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
While the teacher
probably
looks on
not
worriedly.
true.
But like
Yeah.
well, no, this is 1993. They weren't worried yet. Chris.
I still like my far-fetched theory. I think I said before where
The little brother did it.
Well, no, like where Brenda's the cousin.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just been delusional this whole time, thinking
Okay.
like you're stealing my boyfriend, when really, like, it was never her car.
Yeah.
It was never her family.
Never her family.
But, like, we all know it's going to be, like, a fucking dog or something.
I'm waiting for that dog to show up. And I think it's, I think Dina did all the shit. Although I don't know how...
Stuff?
All the spooky stuff I think Dina did, although I don't know how that's going to tie into, like, who's going to... I think nothing's going to happen.
Well, also they were planning a very confusing costume switcheroo that I
God.
don't really understand.
I forgot about the costume
Like, you'll wear
switcheroo
this,
plan.
and I'll
Yeah.
wear that, and then we'll switch, and then I'll kill her.
Yeah. There's like 5 costumes
And
in the
everyone will
mix.
think this person killed her, but it was me.
Yeah.
But it's still them.
It's still them. It's still going to be easy.
Yeah, like, it doesn't give them alibis. It
Yeah,
gives none
it just
of them
transfers
alibis.
the blame to, like, Dina or the other one.
Yeah. It's just like, well, who was wearing the clown costume?
Yeah.
Okay, you were? Well, then you killed her.
Yeah.
A dead person is dead. Oh my god. Okay, let's find out what happens. Chapter 16. Brenda hesitated, one hand on the door frame, the other gripping her bag from the sewing store. All right, I forgot she went to Joanne Fabrics. She stared at Hallie, studying her face. Hallie's hair, which usually fell freely around her head, was tied tightly back, so you know she meant business. Her eyes were narrowed as they gazed at Brenda. Her lips were pursed, her expression set as if chiseled in cold stone. I thought you were playing with Randy, Brenda said suspiciously, still not entering her own room. We played some games, but Randy got bored. Now he's watching TV downstairs, Hallie replied, her expression not softening. Well, what are you doing in here, Hallie? Brenda demanded. Her voice trembled. She cleared her throat. What are you doing in my room?
What early 90s TV show is Randy watching?
Blossom. I don't know if that was early enough. He's watching Goosebumps.
That was pretty early.
Was it early? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hallie stared at her coldly and didn't reply. Her eyes burned into Brenda's. Brenda tried to read her thoughts, but couldn't because she wasn't fucking psychic. What's going on here? She wondered. What does Hallie want? I have to do some sewing now, Brenda said, holding up the brown paper bag. Come in, Hallie replied, her eyes locked on Brenda's, forcing Brenda to look away. We have to talk.
That's a power move.
Excuse me. Taking a deep breath, Brenda stepped into the room and tossed her package onto the desk. Staring suspiciously at Hallie, she crossed her arms over her chest. What do we have to talk about? Brenda demanded with a sneer. Hallie stood up suddenly. I still can't get used to it. It's not a name. Hallie stood up suddenly, so suddenly that Brenda uttered a short cry of surprise. Hallie moved toward Brenda, her features set in a menacing frown. What is she going to do? Brenda wondered, feeling a tremor of fear start in the pit of her stomach and radiate through her body. Why is she staring at me like that?
Brenda, you are not playing it cool at all.
Why is she coming toward me with that threatening look on her face?
She stood up and Brenda's like,
Is it because I've talked about murdering her openly and constantly in the home that we share? Swallowing hard, Brenda was about to turn and run from the room when she saw tears glisten in the corner of Hallie's eyes.
Oh,
Hallie stopped. The tears swelled, then dropped onto Hallie's pale cheeks. Hallie opened her mouth to speak, but no sound came out. To Brenda's shock, Hallie's hard expression crumbled. The tears ran down Hallie's cheeks, and she began to sob, her slender shoulders heaving up and down. Hallie, Brenda started. Have I really been so hateful? Hallie blubbered through her sobs. Huh? Hallie, Brenda's voice trailed off. She was too shocked to speak. Hallie's hard expression, it was just an attempt to hold back the tears. But now the tears were flowing, and Hallie couldn't keep them back. Have I really been so hateful? She repeated. So hateful that you would want to kill me? She heard, Brenda realized, feeling a cold stab of dread in her chest. Hallie, listen to me. And she backed up and quietly closed the bedroom door. Listen, I didn't mean to be so horrible, Hallie wailed. I thought you and I thought we could be friends. I thought...
She didn't mean to be so horrible, even though she openly made people's boyfriends cheat on her.
Yeah.
Cheat on them with her.
Unless R.L. Stine gives kids enough credit to have an unreliable narrator.
But we saw
But everyone...
that we saw scenes that Brenda wasn't there for.
Yeah.
Like Hallie and Todd or whoever the fuck, whatever boy it was in the car.
Yeah. She dropped onto the bed and covered her face with her hands, her shoulders trembling. She heard everything, Brenda realized. Feeling dizzy, she lowered herself to the other side of the bed and waited for Hallie to stop crying. After a while, Hallie's sobs quieted.
How many more times can they say this fucking name?
Fuck, a million. She wiped the tears off her cheeks with her hands. Brenda walked over to the dresser and carried the tissue box back to her cousin. She sat down again as Hallie dabbed at her eyes with the tissue, breathing hard, avoiding Brenda's stare. Finally, she raised her eyes to Brenda. I really didn't want this to happen, she said, speaking slowly, pronouncing each word carefully, forcing back the urge to start sobbing again. Brenda didn't reply. She didn't know what to say, because she was plotting to murder this person. She waited for her cousin to continue. I really thought you and I would be friends, Hallie said, clutching a wadded-up tissue in her hand. Best buddies. Bosom buddies. Gal pals. I didn't mean to be so awful. I didn't mean for any of it to happen. I didn't mean to make out with your boyfriend, and then make out with your friend's boyfriend, and then make out with your boyfriend again after I totaled your car.
After making out with the car.
And then I also made out with the radiator on the car. That's why it crashed. I was making out with the steering wheel, and I didn't see that stop sign.
All right.
But it did, Brenda said flatly. Hallie nodded. I was just so scared, Brenda. So insecure. I was so freaked about having to live away from home. It made me horny.
She stammered. Away from my friends and my parents. Yes, I see, Brenda said uncomfortably. I was so worried about my parents, Hallie continued. My mom especially. She blamed herself. I knew she did. And she was so dependent on Daddy and on me. And now I didn't know how she'd get along. I mean, I didn't know she could get along. I was just so scared, you see. Hallie raised the tissue to her nose and wiped it. Some strands of blonde hair had come free from the ribbon that held them.
I thought you were going to say some strands of snot.
I also thought that, and I'm glad I did not say that.
I'm a bit disappointed you didn't.
She's a real messy crier.
Hallie's eyes were red-rimmed and watery, and her cheeks were tear-stained.
She's going to have to put some cold spoons on those eyeballs.
And when I came here to stay, Hallie continued, turning her gaze to the darkness outside the window, I was in really bad shape. I mean, my head was just messed up. And you weren't friendly, Brenda. You weren't. You didn't want me here. I could tell. Now, wait, Brenda protested weakly. No, it's true, Hallie insisted. I was an intruder. You made me feel like an intruder. Maybe I imagined some of it. Maybe I exaggerated, but I don't think so. There I was, staying in your room, meeting your friends, and you didn't want me.
I could feel you didn't want me, Brenda. Hallie, I'm sorry, Brenda said, sincerely. She reached out to grab Hallie's arm, but Hallie pulled away.
Hallie.
No, I'm sorry, Hallie replied. I'm the one who's sorry. I'm the one who took away your boyfriend, who tried to show you, to teach you a lesson for rejecting moi. You took away Tracy's boyfriend.
A misunderstanding.
You took away Tracy's boyfriend too, Brenda accused.
There's like 30 pages left. What is going to happen now?
All the murders.
Okay. Ooh, they
Hallie's
team up and they murder everyone.
Hallie's tear-stained cheeks reddened. I really can't explain it, she told Brenda. I can't defend it. I don't know why I did it. I guess I wanted to prove that I was as good as you and your friends, that I could fit in too. I guess I wanted to show you that I didn't care if you accepted me. If you wanted me here or not, I could do whatever I wanted. Hallie uttered a long sigh. There it is. I was just so mixed up, so hurt, and so bitter. I wasn't being myself. I couldn't be myself. I had to be on guard all the time. I was so scared, Brenda. So scared. Her voice trailed off. The two girls stared at each other in silence. Finally, Hallie said, "Please forgive me, okay?" She slid forward and wrapped her arms around Brenda's shoulders in a tight, emotional hug.
Forgive me. Let's start all over. Okay, Brenda? Okay, Brenda? Okay? Okay, Brenda whispered. Okay. And hugged Hallie back. As she hugged her cousin, Brenda was startled to find that she had tears in her own eyes. I have feelings, she thought. Hallie is really sincere, Brenda realized. She really wants for us to be close. She really is sorry for everything that has happened. What a shame, Brenda thought. What a shame that I have to go ahead with my plan anyway.
What?
What?
What the fuck?
She really is sorry. It's too bad I still have to kill her.
What the fuck?
Murder.
What? I'm starting to feel like Bekah's theory is definitely the right one. Because this is outlandish. Outlandish, I say. Chapter 17. Is she really going to do it? Dina asked. Tracy, standing in her kitchen, her back against the yellow wallpaper, gross, twisted the phone cord around her wrist.
I don't know.
She replied quietly.
What do you think?
On the other end of the line, Dina remained silent. Tracy...
Like a cat.
Like a cat. Oh, nope, just kidding. Our cats are not silent. They scream constantly. Pancakes. Tell me who you think did it. Did the butler do it? Yep. On the other end of the line, Dina remained silent. Like a cat. Jesus fucking Christ.
Pancakes.
Pancakes. You are ruining my joke. Chris, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That means the mics are picking it all up. Tracy could hear only a loud crackling sound.
What's that noise?
Tracy asked, freeing her hand from the cord, then tangling it around her wrist again. Oh, sorry, Dina said. I'm chewing gum.
So loud?
Tracy demanded. I guess I'm...
It doesn't sound like crackling.
I'm chewing gum.
All right.
So how you chew gum? I guess I'm nervous or something about the murder, you know, Dina admitted. Hold on. She removed the wad of blue bubble gum from her mouth and set it down on her desk beside the phone. Gross.
Ew.
I think Brenda is very serious.
Oh, fuck.
Tracy
Sorry.
said, tracing the name Brenda on the kitchen wall with her finger, lovingly, gently, seductively.
I think she's going ahead with her plan. When did you talk with her about it? Dina demanded anxiously. Well, I talked to her yesterday at lunch, but we didn't talk about Hallie, Tracy replied. She didn't mention Hallie? Dina asked. No, not once. So maybe Brenda's decided not to go ahead with it, Dina said. She picked up the blue wad of gum and nervously stuck it and unstuck it to the desktop. That's disgusting.
Picking up all the dust with it.
No, I really think all systems are go, Tracy said dryly. How do you say that dryly?
All
Goddamn
systems are go. Like a
nerd.
robot.
Okay. Dina uttered a soft moan. I'm just so scared for her, Tracy. Shouldn't we do something? Like what? Tracy demanded, fingering the name Hallie on the yellow wallpaper.
Come on.
Why are they
Gross.
fingering each other's names? Like, call the police? Dina asked, her shrill voice revealing her fear. They wouldn't believe it, Tracy said coolly.
Oh my god.
And Brenda would just deny it. Well, maybe we should warn Hallie, Dina suggested, or tell Brenda's parents what Brenda is planning to do. They wouldn't believe it either, Tracy said. They would never believe that Brenda was planning to murder Hallie. Brenda lost her total fucking shit on Hallie about the car.
God,
I think
yeah.
they'd probably believe it.
But if we tell them the whole thing...
If we tell them the whole thing,
Tracy interrupted.
Brenda will say the murder plot is just a school assignment. She'll show them the paper we wrote up, and that will be that.
Still
There was
doesn't
a long
seem okay.
There was a long silence at Dina's end. I'm just so scared, she said finally. Tracy snickered. I don't know why that made me laugh.
What does it sound like?
I'm trying to picture it and I can't.
I feel bad for Ted. That's such a mean trick Brenda is playing on him, having him come to the party in a Frankenstein costume.
I know, Dina replied. If anyone sees the Frankenstein stab the gorilla, they'll think Ted did it.
What a sentence.
Oh man, don't you hate it when the Frankenstein stabs the gorilla?
Sounds like a bad euphemism.
That's
for
what,
something
that's
awful.
what I was just gonna say.
Brenda really has a cold sense of humor.
Tracy said, tracing the word cold on the wall with her finger. What is this?
Does she have a learning disability?
I don't know.
Wait, did
I
Dina
mean-
do the first word, or is Tracy tracing
Tracy's-
all the words?
Tracy's been doing it this whole
Is
time.
that why she got her name?
Oh, shit!
All right, where
I
am
think
I?
you're peeking.
I definitely did just then.
All right, I keep thinking maybe I'll stay home, Dina said.
I'm not gonna get past
just
that.
skip the party.
But you're not
Yeah, have an
involved.
alibi.
Tracy told her. I don't want to witness a murder, Dina exclaimed. Are you and Brenda still trading costumes?
Yeah,
Tracy told her.
I'm going to be the clown. She's going to be the peacock.
Dina groaned. Ah, she's going to do it. I know it. Tracy remained silent.
Fingering more names. What are you thinking? Dina demanded. Come on, spill. What are you thinking, Tracy?
I was thinking about Noah,
Tracy admitted after a long pause. Then she added bitterly,
the little rat.
She heard a sharp intake of breath on Dina's end of the line. You want Brenda to kill Hallie, don't you? Dina accused. You really want her to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, maybe I do.
Tracy confessed. As an accomplice. What a mess, Brenda declared. This is sometime later. What a mess. Well, we're done, Hallie said. That's the last one. The fuck is going on? Brenda raised her hands in the air. They were covered with shreds of orange pumpkin. Glancing down, she saw that the sleeve of her sweater was stained orange. You should have pulled your sweater up, you idiot. Look at that gunk, Hallie exclaimed, pointing to the pile of pumpkin flesh and seeds on the newspaper, which they had spread over the kitchen table. Brenda laughed. You have seeds in your hair! Hallie pointed at Brenda. You have pumpkin stuff on your forehead. They both laughed. Whose idea was this anyway? Brenda asked, rolling her eyes.
I mean, 6 jack-o'-lanterns. I have to be crazy.
That's too many.
That is way too many.
Too many.
Well, we did it, Hallie proclaimed happily. Woo, I'm totally wrecked. Both girls raised their eyes to the 6 grinning jack-o'-lanterns lined up across from them on the table. What an ugly mob scene, Brenda said, shaking her head. They'll look so pretty when they're lit up, Hallie remarked. Where are you going to put them? On the floor, against the living room wall, Brenda told her. And I'm going to turn off all the lamps so the only light in the room will come from the jack-o'-lanterns. It'll be neat, Hallie said, straightening the top of one of the pumpkins. That one is totally lopsided, Brenda said. Oh my god, I want to die.
Things just like stop happening in this fucking book.
Yes.
It gives it character, Hallie said. I think he's the scariest of the bunch. What makes you think it's a he? Brenda demanded. They both laughed again. We've been getting along so well, Brenda thought. Hallie has been such a big help this afternoon. Want to roast some pumpkin seeds? I'm just trying to get through.
No, that's fine.
Hallie asked, running her hand over the big pile of seeds.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Oh, Brenda, you psycho. Roast those
Brenda
seeds.
protested, making a face. I never want to see a pumpkin or a pumpkin seed again, really. But they're for your party, you dumb bitch. By the time they cleaned up and carried the 6 pumpkins into the living room, they were even more covered with orange shreds. First shower, Brenda cried. Hallie pulled a wet pumpkin seed from her hair. Okay, but hurry, she told her cousin.
Get it in your hair?
This stuff is starting to smell. Yuck. Brenda hurried upstairs, her mind whirring with thoughts of the party. I'll put the hot cider on the table by the front door, she told herself. That way kids can help themselves to cider as soon as they walk in.
You're going to cause a bottleneck at the door, and how are you going to reheat the cider when it gets cold? Brenda, you bitch!
Brenda, you bitch! Plan this
Then they'll
out
walk
better!
into the dark living room, lit only by candlelight from the 6 jack-o'-lanterns. That's going to be so neat, Brenda thought, a pleased smile forming on her face. She and Hallie had strung long ribbons of blackened orange creepy paper, crisscrossing them over the room to form a low ceiling. It'll look spooky in the dark.
Paper again.
Creepy paper. It'll look spooky in the dark, Brenda told herself. Black creepy paper. She pictured the long spools of black creepy paper, like at a funeral, she thought.
You
don't put crepe paper at a funeral.
It's called crepe paper. It's cracking me up. Yeah, you don't decorate for a funeral like, woohoo!
You don't decorate it like a middle school dance.
Wait, do you not remember where that joke's from, Jonathan?
No.
What?
It's from the very first What We Do in the Shadows episode.
Oh.
Yeah, the creepy paper.
The creepy paper.
That's why I said it that way.
Well, I just thought you were being funny.
You dumb bitch.
I was giving you...
I thought you knew what it was from.
No, I was just laughing because it was a funny joke. And now I know that Chris steals them, so...
Get a CAT scan.
I honestly, when you said that, I was like, what is that a reference to? And
I thought the same thing.
Okay.
I was like, wait, what's he making a pun on?
Okay, good.
Oh, no, it's just that your brain's
it's
broken,
just my brain's
and I guess
bad.
mine is too.
I got a bad bonky brain, and it's rubbing off on you.
Bad bonky brain.
With all the preparations, Brenda had almost forgotten about her plan. To murder. Her smile fading, she entered her room to get undressed for her shower. The clown costume was suspended on a hanger over the closet door. After my shower, I'll take it over to Tracy's and make the switch with her, she thought grimly. She turned away from the closet door and gasped. Randy! She shrieked. Isn't she naked? Her brother lay sprawled face down on the bed, his arms and legs outstretched, a dark puddle of blood beside him on the bedspread. It's just like we're so far into the book, and this is just going to be a goddamn fake out. Chapter 18. Randy!
I hope he's really dead.
Ooh. See, that would be a twist. Brenda's throat tightened, cutting off her breath. Her knees buckled. She grabbed the top of her desk to keep from falling. Once again, I feel like she's naked. This isn't happening, she thought. My little brother isn't lying on my bed in a pool of blood. She blinked several times, trying to clear the image away. Randy? Her voice was a choked whisper. Gasping for air, she stumbled toward her bed. And as she began to lean over her brother, her hands reaching for his shoulders, he raised his head from the pink bedspread and grinned at her. Gotcha! He said softly. No! Brenda cried, relief mixed with astonishment.
So he just got fake blood all over her fucking bed?
Yeah.
Her mattress must be so stained.
Disgusting. It must smell awful.
Randy uttered a high-pitched, gleeful giggle and began flopping around on her bed like a crazed fish. How could you? Brenda shrieked, reaching for him and missing. You scared me to death. Her cries of protest made Randy laugh even more joyfully. He flung himself down, bounced up, flung himself down again, using her bed for a trampoline.
Getting fake blood everywhere.
Yeah, just
Splat,
spraying it
splat. Yeah.
all over the ceiling. Oh, as he jumped, reaching his hands up to touch the ceiling, the puddle of blood bounced off the bed and landed on the white shag rug. Oh, it was plastic.
Oh, it's like a gag puddle of blood.
Yeah, okay, good.
Brenda, you dipshit.
Brenda picked it up and examined it. Plastic blood, she cried, waving it accusingly at her bouncing brother. I don't believe I fell for plastic blood. I got it at the party store, Randy told her. It looks real, doesn't it? He grinned at her, a triumphant grin. Get out of here, Brenda cried impatiently. Off my bed, come on out, I'm naked. It took her several minutes to get him to stop bouncing. How much candy did he have? Finally, he ran out of the room,
Full
yelling,
R's.
Gotcha, 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 all the way down the stairs. Brenda shook her head, letting her breath out slowly. Another real useful, fun page for me to have read.
The first sentence of the next page is hilarious. What a scare!
Oh my
And
God.
just think, she told herself wistfully, tomorrow will be even scarier.
Oh, like, what a
Meanwhile-
scare. And just think, tomorrow I'm going to murder a person.
Later on, the guests began arriving a little after 8 o'clock the next night. By 9 o'clock, the shadowy living room was bursting with masked kids in an astounding array of costumes.
Wait, question. Did I miss something? Are her parents out of town or something?
Not that I know of.
So she's going to
No clue.
kill her cousin
In her house.
in her house with her parents there.
home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
She, yeah. She's gone completely off the deep end.
Well, yeah.
Oops.
I just figured maybe they were... What the fuck did you do? I figured maybe they were out of town, but I couldn't remember.
Ah.
Brenda counted 2 Freddy Kruegers, complete with long, knife-like metal fingers, 2 mummies, who both started to come unraveled soon after arriving, and 2 kids wearing dark suits and masks of the President of the United States. One girl, a senior named Alyssa,
George
didn't appear to be in costume. She was wearing a very short, silky blue party dress, but no mask. Who are you supposed to be? Brenda asked her, having to shout from behind her mask. I'm Cindy Crawford, Alyssa replied, pointing to the mole she had painted above her upper lip. Brenda laughed. Nice costume. The party was going well. The sweet aroma of the hot mulled cider floated over the room. The row of jack-o'-lanterns against the wall glowed eerily, casting strange shadows along the floor, sending flickering light up to the creepy paper ceiling just above everyone's heads.
Music pounded from the stereo. They were listening to Pearl Jam. The gorilla circulated through the room, carrying a tray of tiny hot dogs and rolls. Pigs in blankets, if you will. The monk stood hunched beside the fireplace, masked beneath her heavy, dark hood.
Is that Dina?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Wasn't
I
she
think
going to be
she's
a
the monk.
Yeah.
Leaning close to hear what a masked Princess Di was saying to her too soon. People kept running their hands over the...
Wait, when did she die? Wait,
Uh,
no, that was 96, right?
yeah, 90-something. I guess after this.
Couldn't have been long after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People kept running their hands over the tail feathers of the peacock, much to the peacock's consternation. Peacock Consternation was my high school band. Finding it hard to move around the crowded living room, the peacock eventually removed the tail, tossing it into the fire downstairs before bedroom
So
where
it's just a blue
it's blue bird.
creature with a beak.
Yeah. Goes straight over the bed. Half an hour later, the crowded room had become hot and steamy. Oh, yeah. The candles in the jack-o'-lanterns had lowered. The grinning pumpkin heads sent out dim, flickering light over the dancing couples and roaming hands and hot, sweaty breath. Having served the last of the... What? I know.
Was that in there?
No.
Oh.
Having served the last of the cocktail hot dogs... I don't know why that's making me laugh.
Cocktail hot dog?
Cocktail hot dogs.
The little smokies?
Yeah, little smokies. I love the idea of a gorilla walking around going, cocktail hot dog. Cocktail hot dog. The gorilla sat in a folding chair against the wall. The clown danced energetically across the room with one of the mummies. I'm
getting real, like, who used which bathroom vibes from this.
Yep, that's exactly what I was just about to say.
I'm not fucking taking notes, R.L.
I'm not keeping track of who's doing what and who's dressed as who. One of the Frankensteins had his arm around the bare shoulders of Cindy Crawford. No one paid any attention as another Frankenstein stepped up beside the gorilla's chair.
Oh, God. No one saw the gleam of the kitchen knife in the Frankenstein's hand as it caught a flicker of candlelight from the grinning jack-o'-lanterns. Frankenstein's hand moved quickly. A swift sideways move.
But it's very unlike Frankenstein.
And the knife blade plunged into the gorilla's chest. No one could hear the gorilla's strangled cry from beneath the heavy mask. Its arms shot straight out. It tried to rise.
Like Frankenstein.
Then it dropped heavily back onto the chair as the knife was pulled out. In the flickering orange light, no one saw the gorilla's head slump forward on its chest, and no one paid any attention as the Frankenstein monster slipped quietly away into the deep shadows.
Here's, my thing. Mm-hmm. If, obviously, some fucking twist is going to happen, but just like, if we're taking this at face value, Hallie has heard the entire plan for her own murder and confronted her would-be murderer about it. So, like, Hallie knows about the costume switches and the knife and the killing her as a gorilla and, like, blah, blah, blah. It just seems weird that she would, like, confront Brenda and be like, hey, I know you're going to try and murder me in this exact way, but hey, let's just wear the same costumes and, like, see what happens. Like,
I bet now I'm thinking, I bet Hallie got Todd or one of the stupid boys to switch.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the boys is the gorilla.
Oh. Yeah, one of the boyfriends.
And she's, like,
and she's one of the mummies.
Cindy Crawford or some shit. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not that one, but I'm sure she switched out of that gorilla costume. Chapter 19. Hey, look out! Someone screamed as one of the presidents stumbled backwards, accidentally kicking over a jack-o'-lantern. You'll set the rug on fire. The jack-o'-lantern grinned its jagged grin, sideways now, its orange light flickering dimly. A long-nosed witch bent to roll the pumpkin right side up. Someone changed the music to a frantic rap song. So frantic.
A frantic rap song in, like, 93 is like, hip, hop, a hibbity, a hibbity, a hip, hip, hop.
One of the black, creepy streamers pulled loose from its tape and floated down over the dancers in the middle of the room. Kids began pulling at it, stretching it until it tore. And then pulling down all the creepy streamers became the game of the moment. In seconds, the room was cluttered with torn scraps of black and orange. That's so annoying. I'd be so
Also, that's a fire
pissed.
hazard.
Yeah.
Let's litter the floor with flammable tissue paper.
Everyone was laughing until a scream cut through the laughter.
Eee! At first, it sounded like part of the music. The scream repeated itself.
I love this song.
Eee! Rising over the angry rhythmic rapping.
You know how they sound in rap? They
Hip,
go,
hop,
ah!
ah!
All right. I'm gonna reread this because I think it's very indicative of RL's view of a certain culture.
Oh no.
The scream repeated itself, rising over the angry rhythmic rapping.
Jesus.
And then someone cut the stereo off, and the screams continued. And everyone searched the shadowy room for the source of the screams, and saw the long-nosed witch tear off her rubber mask and point to the gorilla slumped at such an odd angle in the folding chair. There's blood, the witch cried, pointing at a dark puddle beneath the gorilla's chair. Another scream, cries of confusion, hushed whispers. The entire room seemed to freeze in horror. Only the shadows moved as the candles flickered at the floor. The hushed whispers faded into silence. The witch stared down at the puddle of blood, and all eyes followed her horrified gaze. Someone laughed, a high-pitched laugh, a forced laugh. It's a joke, one of the mummies cried. Someone else laughed. Voices rose in the heavy air. Sit up, someone called to the gorilla. What a goof. Yeah, it's a joke. I knew it. I wasn't scared.
Who is it? Take off your mask. You can get up now. You scared us already.
Who is it? Is it Brenda's cousin?
Yeah, it's Hallie. Get up, Hallie. But the gorilla didn't move, and suddenly a figure was moving quickly through the room. The white-faced clown made its way up to the chair, arms outstretched. Hallie, the clown cried and began to shake the gorilla by its shoulders. Hallie? Hallie? No reply. Letting go of the hairy shoulders, the clown wrapped both hands around the top of the gorilla mask and tugged. The mask pulled up easily. The room echoed with screams as the face underneath was revealed. Eyes closed, mouth gaping open, copper-colored hair falling behind the lifeless head. It's Brenda! The clown shrieked. Oh no, it's Brenda! And she's dead!
Oh, shit. That's a very short chapter.
Yeah, what's with these weird chapter lengths?
Why don't you just do that whole thing?
God, all right. Chapter 20. No! A shrill scream cut through the shocked silence. Not
That's a tongue
Brenda,
twister.
no! Not Brenda. Yeah.
Not Brenda, the
Not
psycho.
Brenda. As the clown grasped the gorilla mask, Brenda's head fell against the chair back with a hard thonk. Thonk.
Thonk.
She's been stabbed. The clown managed to choke out. The gorilla mask fell from her hands and bounced on the carpet beside the puddle of blood. Screams and cries. The clown tore off her mask, revealing that she was Tracy. Her eyes were wide with horror. She gasped for breath. Not Brenda! It can't be Brenda! She cried. Tracy, you're wearing Brenda's costume, someone yelled. Yes, Tracy started to reply, but her throat tightened, choking off her words. Somebody call the police! Call 911! Frightened voices competed with sobs of horror. Brenda! Brenda! Tracy shook the lifeless figure again by the shoulders. Brenda's head bounced against the chair back. She just like bonk, 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 Brenda! Suddenly, just like more blood.
Yeah. Her mouth just like...
Suddenly, the dark-robed monk burst through the tight crowd. Dina tossed back her hood. Her eyes were narrowed with fury. Raising her robed arm, she pointed an accusing finger at Tracy. You killed her, Tracy! Dina declared. You and your stupid murder plot. I'm sorry, I'm tripping up because this book's really stupid.
It's fine.
You and your stupid murder plot. You killed Brenda.
Chapter 21. The cries faded. The voices grew silent, as if the horror in the room had swallowed up all sound. Brenda sat slumped in the stiff-backed chair, her pale face rising above the dark fur of the costume. Tracy and Dina faced each other from opposing sides of the lifeless body. You killed her, Tracy, Dina repeated. Tracy shrank back, hands to her face, eyes wide in disbelief. The light flickered across the white front of the clown suit Brenda had so carefully sewn.
No,
Tracy replied to Dina in a trembling voice.
I didn't kill anyone.
A third figure moved to the front of the room. The peacock darted forward, removing the blue and green mask to reveal a bewildered-looking Hallie.
She forced me! Hallie cried, her eyes on Brenda. Brenda forced me to switch costumes with her. I didn't understand why.
Well,
Tracy interrupted, staring suspiciously at Hallie. Brenda traded costumes with me. She took my peacock costume, and I took the clown costume. And then she gave me the peacock costume, Hallie wailed. God! She made me trade. Brenda took the gorilla suit. But why? Tracy cried. Tracy, you idiot! Dina shrieked in fury. You thought you were killing Hallie, and you stabbed your best friend instead? No. Tracy uttered a shrill cry. She leapt to attack Dina, but Dina fell back against the fireplace, nimble like a cat. Stop it! Stop! Stop it! Hallie shrieked, and suddenly Tracy was staring at Hallie, her eyes narrowed in suspicion.
It was you, wasn't it?
Huh? Hallie's eyes widened in surprise.
You forced Brenda to switch costumes with you, didn't you, Hallie?
No way! Hallie screamed, her hands forming tight fists at her sides. No way! Tracy, that's not the way it happened.
Yes.
Tracy insisted, advancing on Hallie. Oh my god.
You made Brenda take the gorilla suit, Hallie, and then you stabbed her. Did someone call 911? The girl cried. Where are Brenda's parents? Did someone call her parents? Tracy and Hallie stared at each other, their features set in accusation. I didn't stab anyone, Hallie declared through clenched teeth. You plotted to kill me, Tracy. I heard you.
Oh yeah, the Frankenstein stabbed the gorilla. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
fucking Colonel Mustard at the end of Clue, and he's just like 3 + 2.
Yeah. I heard every word, but your plot backfired. You killed the wrong girl. Oh no, Tracy protested. No, no, no. She took a menacing step toward Hallie. It wasn't me. How could I change into a Frankenstein costume so quickly? I couldn't. Frankenstein costume, someone shouted. Frankenstein? Question mark.
Frankenstein?
Yes, Tracy declared. Brenda was stabbed by someone in a Frankenstein costume. She lowered her voice sadly. It was part of our plot. Then it was Ted, Dina declared. Ted stabbed Brenda. Cries of surprise rang through the room. There are 2 Frankensteins here, Tracy said. I hate this. Fuck. One of them is Ted. Where are you, Ted? Ted! 2 Frankensteins stepped reluctantly forward. They lifted their masks. Tracy recognized Brad Mitchell and Tony Alexander. Who the fuck are they?
What?
Do we
I
know
don't
either of them?
No.
Ted? Where are you, Ted? Tracy cried. He's gone, Dina exclaimed. I knew he was the killer.
Somewhere off in the distance you hear.
Fire.
Dina literally just accused Tracy of being the killer, but all right.
Do you think it was Chekhov's fake blood? Like they haven't, like
Maybe.
no one's checked her pulse.
Oh.
They just said
Well,
that
she
there was
just
blood on
kept
the
slamming
floor.
her head against the back of the chair.
But like, fake blood is just a shiny, solid piece of plastic. It wouldn't look normal on like a gorilla suit. It should be like all matted and shit. Unless she got the idea from Randy to use fake
Yeah,
blood.
she might have just bought some.
But then how could
Goo.
she get fake stabbed? I don't
I don't know. They're all idiots.
Chapter 22. Has anyone seen Ted? Hallie cried. Hushed voices, whispers. Someone was crying in the back of the room. A mummy stepped forward, tugging away the gauze around his face. Ted isn't here, he said.
Ted isn't here,
No,
said the mummy. What?
Ted isn't here.
Noah, you're here.
Tracy cried. Ted is home. He has the flu. I don't remember Noah's voice, so I'm just rolling with it.
I like
He's
He's
that.
homesick.
Yeah.
You can call his house, but his parents will tell you.
But that's impossible.
Tracy declared.
He was supposed to be here in the Frankenstein costume, and
He couldn't come, Noah said, staring at Brenda sprawled in the chair. He has the flu. It's true, Tracy. Noah's face froze in horror. He tried to cry out, but no sound would come from his throat.
Slowly, he raised his trembling hand to point toward the chair. All eyes followed his terrified gaze. The room echoed with screams and startled cries. In the straight-backed chair, Brenda moved. At first, it appeared to be the flickering of the shadows from the bending candlelight, but no, the corpse was moving. Brenda slowly raised her head above the dark gorilla body. She blinked and closed her mouth. Slowly, Brenda sat up and stared into the startled faces of her friends. Happy Halloween, Brenda told them in a lifeless, dry voice, so bitter, so angry.
What? Why is she fucking angry?
Oh, who goddamn
What?
knows?
Chapter 23. The joke is over and so is the party, Brenda announced, climbing to her feet. She picked up the plastic puddle of blood from the floor and raised it high to show everyone it wasn't real.
I'm a detective.
Why is she mad at everyone?
Because she's a fucking psychopath.
Everyone's so concerned for her. All right. The room filled with startled screams and cries. She's alive! It was just a joke? How could she? I don't believe it. Brenda, are you okay? What's the big idea? She wasn't stabbed? I was hoping she was dead. Ignoring the outcry, Brenda grabbed Hallie's shoulder and pulled her close. It was split. It made it harder.
It's fine.
Hallie, get everyone out here, okay? Or get everyone out of here. I don't know why I can't read tonight.
It's because of the book.
I caught your bad brains. Tell them all to go home. Hallie nodded solemnly and turned to obey Brenda's instructions. That seems a little out of character.
Yeah.
Muttering in surprise and confusion, the guests began gathering their coats and preparing to leave. As Hallie ushered them out, Brenda made her way into the kitchen, waddling heavily in the furry gorilla suit, followed by Tracy and Dina. In the harsh kitchen light, their faces were red and perspiring. All three of them were breathing hard. All three started talking at once. "You're alive! Brenda, you're alive!" Dina declared, her brown hair matted with sweat against her forehead. "The plot is over," Brenda said coldly, training her eyes first on Dina, then looking at Tracy. "I know which one of you tried to kill me."
"But, Brenda..."
Tracy protested, her eyes wide with shock. Without warning, Brenda lunged forward. She grabbed the front of Dina's monk robe and ripped it open.
Oh.
"I knew it!" Brenda cried, her eyes on the green costume underneath. Dina pulled angrily from Brenda's grasp. All three girls cried out as a rubber mask fell out from the sleeve of Dina's robe. It bounced to the linoleum and stared up at them, a green and black Frankenstein mask.
"I stabbed you!" Dina cried, turning her furious glance on Brenda. "I stabbed you, Brenda! Why aren't you dead?" A bitter smile crossed Brenda's lips. "I knew it was you, Dina," she uttered in a low whisper, and then kissed her on the cheek. "Why aren't you dead?" Dina wailed. "Why? I am a good seamstress."
What?
"I stitched myself while no one was looking."
"Remember?" Brenda replied, her eyes burning angrily into Dina's. She patted the front of her costume. "I sewed a double thick pad of foam rubber into this gorilla suit. So, yeah, because a knife can't cut through that.
A knife can't cut through foam.
A knife. It's not like a bulletproof vest, you dumb bitch." Oh, God. Dina groaned in anger, as did I. She glared at Brenda. "How did you know? How did you know it was me? All those horrible things you did to me." "Dina," Brenda replied, her voice revealing more sadness than anger. "All those horrible things." "You were supposed to think it was Hallie," Dina cried bitterly. Brenda shook her head. "At first I did think it was Hallie. And that second and third, I thought it was Hallie most of the time. Almost the whole book, I thought it was Hallie," Brenda admitted. "But then I realized, Dina, I realized it was you, Dina." "How?" Dina demanded, backing toward the kitchen door. "How did you know?" "The blood on the wall," Brenda said, her eyes narrowed on Dina. "It had to be animal blood. The headless bird and the pumpkin. Another animal." Does Dina live on a farm?
"The chunks of rotten meat in my bed. They were dog food. Spoiled dog food."
Gross.
She swallowed hard. "I put it together, Dina. Your job.
Oh.
After school every day at
Trip
the
to the
veterinarian's
vets.
office.
I forgot about that.
It was easy for you to get that stuff." "You knew?" Dina cried, unable to conceal her shock.
Whose blood was
You
it?
knew before the party?
She's like find
It's just some dead animal
just some
blood.
dead animal. She was just like squeeze.
Yeah, squeezing it into a little Tupperware.
Ew.
Suddenly, Hallie burst into the room, her hair wild about her head, her face scarlet. "Everyone's gone," she announced. Then she turned on Dina. "What did I ever do to you?" Dina ignored her, glaring coldly at Brenda. "You thought I was in the gorilla suit," Hallie cried. "You thought you were stabbing me, Dina. Why? I just don't get it." Dina remained silent. Finally, she turned to Hallie. "I knew you weren't in the gorilla suit. I listened at the air vent. I heard you and Brenda trade costumes.
Oh my God.
I knew I was stabbing Brenda.
Oh my God.
Brenda deserves to die."
Oh my God.
"Why, Dina?" Tracy demanded, gripping the kitchen counter. "Brenda is your friend. She..." "No!" Dina exploded. "She wasn't my friend when I needed her." "Huh?" Tracy and Brenda both reacted with shock.
Oh, what?
When my parents were getting divorced,
Yep.
when they were fighting in court over me, where were you
you
then,
done?
Brenda? I was right. She demanded, spitting the words with rage. "Where were you then? You abandoned me. You disappeared. You dropped me, didn't you, when I needed you the most?" "But, Dina, Brenda was too shocked to think clearly. "And then I saw
think
you doing
divorce
the
is
same
yucky."
thing." "And then I saw you doing the same thing to Hallie," Dina accused, her features twisted in rage. "I saw you shutting her out when she needed you, when she was in the same kind of trouble I'd been in, and it brought it all back, Brenda. It brought it all back, and I knew I had to make you pay." Brenda felt a wave of guilt sweep away her anger. "Dina, I didn't realize," she started. "Save the
Just
apologies," Dina snarled. "I wanted to frighten you, Brenda. I wanted to show you what it was like to be so frightened you can't stand it, so frightened you can't think straight." Dina's chest heaved. She gasped for air. "I wasn't going to kill you. I just wanted to scare you. But killing was your idea. When you and Tracy decided to really kill Hallie, you gave me the idea. You put the idea in my head. That's when I knew I had to kill you, Brenda."
Seems extreme, but whatever. "But Dina," Brenda replied, taking a step toward her. "Tracy and I never planned to murder Hallie. That was just a trick to draw you out. That whole plot to murder Hallie, it wasn't real. It was all for your benefit. We never planned to stab Hallie. We just wanted to trick you into confessing." What?
"When? What?"
When? What?
But we never thought you'd really stab Brenda.
Tracy stammered. "I still want to kill you," Dina raged. "I do. I really do." She uttered a snarl of rage and shoved Brenda hard against the kitchen counter. Then she took off, running into the living room, her heavy monk robe flowing
Smoke
behind
bomb.
her. Smoke bomb. "Quick, after that monk!" Brenda, Tracy, and Hallie darted after her. "Dina, stop!" Brenda called, into the shadowy living room. Dina was nearly across the room when she stumbled over one of the flickering jack-o'-lanterns. She uttered an angry cry as she toppled forward onto the floor.
"Shit."
"Dina, wait!" Tangled in her long robe, Dina struggled to climb to her feet. "Let me go!" she shrieked. She
Like a
reached
cat.
like a No, if she was a cat, she would have landed on her feet. She reached down, tried to untangle the robe, and stared into the tilted jack-o'-lantern. It grinned up at her, a jagged, laughing, evil grin.
Staring into its glowing eyes, Dina began to scream. Shrieking and sobbing, she struggled toward the front door, crawling on her hands and knees.
A psychotic break.
Yeah. And then 2 dark uniformed policemen were in the driveway, blocking Dina's path. "What's going on here? Who called 911? Sometime later. "I feel so bad," Brenda said later, her hands around a white mug of steaming hot chocolate.
Does she have a blanket over her, too?
I had no idea Dina had such resentment, such hatred. I didn't deliberately drop Dina as a friend when her parents were divorcing. It was all such a mess back then. I really thought she wanted to be alone. Earlier, we knew that wasn't true.
Yeah, you're a bad friend.
Brenda's still not fucking okay
No.
in this
Brenda's
whole
an
scenario.
awful person.
Hallie shook her head sadly. She was seated across from Brenda at the kitchen table. She took a sip of her hot chocolate. Ow, it's hot. The house was silent. Everyone else had gone.
Ow.
Brenda's parents were picking up Randy at his friend's house and would be home soon. The police were very gentle and understanding with Dina, Hallie said quietly, staring into her
Seen
cup.
this type of thing all the time.
Young girls plotting to murder each other and switch costumes.
Just another Wednesday.
You get used to it after a while.
She'll get the help she needs, Brenda said. She raised her mug and held it up toward her cousin. Happy Halloween, she said wearily. Hallie raised her mug and clicked it against Brenda's. It is a happy Halloween, in a way. I just want to see... Okay, this is the end. Should I just
Take us
finish it?
home!
It is a happy Halloween in a way, she said thoughtfully. At least things are different now. I mean, between you and me. Yeah, I guess you could say that you and I have finally taken off our masks, Brenda replied. Hallie sighed, as did we all, and gazed toward the cluttered living room. Let's clean up tomorrow, she said. Brenda laughed. I think we're starting to understand each other really well. The end. That's the fucking end of the book. What the fuck?
What?
There's a second book,
That
apparently.
was
Fuck that.
a book.
Oh, Brenda's in it again.
Oh, there's an Angela now. In the next one.
Stop skipping ahead.
I want to know what happens in the next one. I hated this.
We're never
Oh.
gonna read it.
Oh my god. What a crock of shit. What?
Yeah, that was all very.
That was very stupid.
Well, I guess I called it. Or I guess
in a way, yeah.
In a way, yeah. I didn't.
It was Dina, but not for the reason that I think you were imagining, or I was thinking
No.
when you said it.
I got half of it right.
Yeah, that's.
The other half, who could get that right?
I think my version would have been so much better.
Yeah. I
Like,
think
they abandoned the story. Well, I don't know. They didn't fucking explain that part at all when they were talking about the murder plot was to, like, rouse out Dina.
so. Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Why did they
like-
suspect Dina?
Are we
Did
to
Hallie
believe?
wreck Brenda's car on purpose for the ruse?
No, I think.
I don't think so. I think that Hallie still did all the shitty things that she did,
Yes.
and so did Brenda.
Yes.
So when did she become like in on the plot or whatever?
I think it was after the dog food and maggots, the whole meat and maggots thing in the bed.
Oh, the whole meat and maggots.
You know,
thing.
you know that old chestnut meat and maggots. Because I remember at the end of that chapter, she was like, "I know what I have to do." So that's probably like, it's not clear. I'm just thinking. I think that was when Brenda pieced it together. Because that was the last like thing that Dina did to her. Because it was the blood, and then the dead bird, and then the meat and maggots.
Fuck this book.
So that's probably when Brenda was
no
like,
one could get their hand on dog food except
Oh.
for Dina.
vet person. It's been Dina this whole time. But then,
So was the dead bird like a parakeet?
yeah,
like
right.
a cockatiel?
Yeah, yeah. Just someone's dead songbird.
Yeah.
Did she kill it? Like,
Maybe she was
Probably.
supposed to toss it in the incinerator. She just put it in her pocket.
hey, Dina, can you take care of this dead bird? Yes, I will. I know exactly what to do with it. I'm going to.
I
First-
imagine she bit it.
First, I have to carve a pumpkin. Then light this bird on fire inside of it. Make it
So many
smell gross.
pumpkins were carved in this book.
Christ. What a...
Really lived up to the cover image.
Yeah, it did.
I'm like... I would be less mad if we didn't just spend 2 months reading this book.
Yeah.
I think if we read it fast, I would have been like, that was dumb, but haha, happy Halloween. But now it's like it's almost Christmas, and I'm just angry. I'm angry at it.
I'm so jaded by all these at this point that like I'm not even surprised.
Oh, and I remain confused, which maybe is my problem. Did Tracy
No.
know that Brenda had the rubber shit in her gorilla suit? Because she seemed genuinely surprised, unless she was also acting. But she did seem...
Well, Tracy seems to have been in on the Dina plot of it all.
But then I thought she was also in on the Brenda plot.
Tracy was in
I
on
don't
the...
care enough to keep talking about
Tracy was in on the Dina plot.
I don't think it's worth digging into.
But they didn't think Dina would actually, like, try and actually kill her. They were just trying to get Dina to confess. So I think Tracy was still shocked that Dina, like, stabbed Brenda. Although
We're gonna get her to confess to some just, like, really disgusting pranks by pretending to kill my cousin.
Yeah. But then that's the thing is Brenda also would have had to
acting like we're doing something way worse.
They all act shocked that Dina stabbed Brenda to try and kill her, but Brenda planned for that to happen because she sewed all that extra foam padding into her costume. So it's like, well, you knew that was a possibility.
I guess Brenda wasn't as shocked as Tracy,
I guess.
who I guess was on the outside of all of it.
I don't know. It still seems like a stretch to even like if you were Brenda to be like, well, Dina might try and murder me. I don't know.
What do you think, listeners? Send all your thoughts to rl@rlstein.com.
Please tweet at R.L. Stine and ask him to make amends for writing this book. I got nothing.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
What a way to end the year. What are we gonna? Okay, let's figure this out now. We won't do it for a while, but like, what's the next thing that we should read? What's the next kind of thing or book? Should we go back to Sweet Valley?
Yes. I mean, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of the SVU.
I feel like it's been a while.
Sweet Valley's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's reliable. That's reliable insanity. And not like in a way that makes me angry.
Yep.
All right. Maybe we'll like, I don't know what we should do. I don't know if we should like skip ahead, just pick a random Sweet Valley, or if we should keep going.
We'll figure it out.
I feel like to do it proper justice, we should just keep following the order.
Follow the order? Okay.
Mostly because I want to know what happens.
There's so many, though.
I'm invested.
There's an insane amount of them.
I think we saw some crazy-looking titles in the back of one of the books, and we can find something that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Because with that many books in a series, there's going to be some boring-ass filler.
Well, yeah. I feel like we could skip 5 books and not miss a lot in the lives of Jessica and
maybe ask Elizabeth. Our SVU expert.
Yes, definitely.
Which one to jump to.
That's true. That's a good idea.
We'll ask Christine.
Yeah. There's also always Sweet Valley Twins. We could always try one of those where they're children, little baby psychopath Jessica.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well,
off air.
Thanks for listening to this. This is a short episode.
This very special seasonal affective disorder episode.
It really is.
Of
I'm ready for bed. It is 7:15.
I know. Well, yeah, we probably won't see you again for another new episode until maybe January. I'm not really sure, but whatever. Take care until you tune in next time. Thanks for listening. Find us on cactusrodeo.com/podcast. Listen to all of our stuff and follow us on the social medias.
In the meantime, enjoy our incredible backlog and the sketchy show.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit to listen to. So if you like us, listen to more of us. We'll see you next time. We love you. Bye.
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 Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.